Marcus Webb checked his watch. 11:47 p.m. His shift had 3 hours left. His wallet had even less. He made $38,000 a year. Every dollar already belonged to someone else. Rent, utilities, his son's school, the bills that never stopped coming. Marcus Jr. was asleep at home, depending on a father who could not afford mistakes. Then she walked through the doors, soaked, trembling, carrying a suitcase that looked heavier than her entire life. "I have a reservation," she whispered, "but my card was declined. I don't have the deposit." His manager didn't hesitate. Policy. No deposit, no room. Marcus felt that old memory tighten in his chest, the night every door closed on him, until one stranger said yes. He opened his wallet. $280. His son's winter coat. The electric bill. Survival. He slid $200 across the counter anyway, because by morning, the stranger he saved tonight wouldn't just return. She would decide whether he still had a job or a future. The key card was warm in her small hands. She took it like it might dissolve if she gripped too hard. "What's your name?" Marcus asked, his voice steady. "Sarah," she said. "Sarah Chun." He nodded, printing the paperwork. "Room 307, 3rd floor. You'll be okay." She looked at his name tag, lips moving as she read it. For a moment, her tired eyes sharpened. Just a flash, like a light switching on and off. Then it was gone. She took the card, nodded, and walked toward the elevator. Derek emerged from the back office before the elevator doors had fully closed. His face was tight, jaw clenched. "You just made a mistake," he said quietly. "A big one." Marcus continued checking out the last guest of the night, his movements deliberate and calm. Inside, his stomach was twisting. "When corporate reviews that receipt," Derek continued, "they're going to see exactly what you did. Unauthorized discount. Out-of-pocket payment. Violation of the deposit protocol." Marcus finished processing the transaction and turned to face his manager. "I helped a guest who needed help," he said simply. "That's not a violation. That's the job." "That's not the job," Derek said, his voice dropping into something colder. "The job is to follow policy. The job is to protect this property." Marcus felt his jaw tighten. He'd heard that tone before, in shelter offices, in apartment buildings, in every place that looked at someone's circumstances and decided they weren't worthy. "My son is 7 years old," Marcus said quietly. "If I ever found him alone and desperate, I'd want someone to say yes to him. Not because of policy, because he's human." Derek's expression didn't change. "Your son isn't my problem, Marcus. And neither is her." He walked away, leaving Marcus alone in the lobby. Marcus pulled up the reservation he'd just created. Room 307. One night. Deposit covered. Everything clean on the surface. He finished his shift at 3 a.m., cleaning the desk, organizing the morning paperwork, trying not to think about what was waiting for him when corporate reviewed the logs. The drive home took 20 minutes through empty streets. His apartment building was dark when he arrived. His mother, Gloria, was waiting on the couch, her purse in her lap. She'd done this countless times, stayed with Marcus Jr. during the late shifts. "He's asleep," she said before Marcus could ask. Marcus sat down heavily beside her. "Mom." "Don't," she said. "I don't want to hear it. Not tonight." Gloria was already looking at him with the particular exhaustion of a woman who'd spent her life watching her son give away money he didn't have. "You did it again, didn't you? Helped someone you couldn't afford to help." Marcus didn't answer. That was answer enough. Gloria stood and walked to the window. Outside, the city was quiet. "I love that you have a good heart, baby. I do. But hearts don't pay rent. Hearts don't keep the lights on." "A stranger helped us once," Marcus said softly. "You told me that story 100 times. You said it was the only reason we survived." "I know," Gloria said, turning back to him. "And I'm grateful every single day. But Marcus, that man didn't have a child depending on him. You do. And one day, your good heart is going to cost you your job. And then what?" Marcus had no answer for that. Gloria gathered her purse and headed for the door. "I'm going to bed in the spare room," she said. "You should sleep. Tomorrow's going to be complicated." She was right. But as Marcus stood in the doorway of his son's room, watching Marcus Jr. sleep, he couldn't bring himself to regret anything. His son believed in him, believed he was a hero. That mattered more than policy. That mattered more than everything. The lobby looked different in the morning light. Sharper, less forgiving. Marcus had slept maybe 2 hours, his mind cycling through scenarios, all of them ending with termination paperwork. He kept his smile set as he checked out guests. "Good morning, sir. Thank you for staying with us." Each greeting felt like a performance. At 7:42 a.m., the phone rang. Internal Management Office. His stomach dropped. "Mr. Webb," the voice said. "Mr. Harris, the regional manager. Conference room 3. Now, bring the check-in logs from last night." Marcus gathered the papers with steady hands. His hands had gotten good at being steady when everything inside was collapsing. The management floor felt different than the lobby. Colder. The elevator opened onto polished floors and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. He could hear voices inside, at least 3, maybe 4. He knocked. "Come in," a woman's voice called. He stepped inside, and his entire body went still. The girl from last night sat at the head of the conference table. Except she wasn't a girl anymore. The soaked cardigan was gone. In its place was a navy blazer tailored to precision, a white blouse, a watch that probably cost more than Marcus's monthly rent. Her hair was a smooth, low bun. She looked like the kind of person who didn't have bad nights. But her eyes were the same, and when they met his, for one fraction of a second, he saw recognition. Then it vanished, replaced by blank professionalism. "Mr. Webb," she said calmly. "Thank you for joining us. Please sit." Mr. Harris was to her left, looking pale. Derek and Tyler sat rigid across from him, their faces telling him everything. They'd already been summoned. Marcus sat at the far end of the table, the logs in his hands feeling like evidence. "My name is Amelia White," the woman said. "I am the new CEO of Aurora Group, the parent company of this entire hotel chain." The words landed, but Marcus's brain struggled to process them. CEO, Amelia White, the name from the ownership documents. "Last night," Amelia continued, "I came to this hotel as a walk-in guest. I was testing our customer service protocols. I had limited funds. I needed a room." She paused, her gaze moving between Derek and Tyler. "I was turned away by these 2 staff members." Derek's jaw clenched. Tyler stared at the table. "But Mr. Webb," Amelia said, now looking directly at Marcus, "chose to help me, using his own money, violating company policy to do so." The conference room was silent except for the soft hum of the air conditioning. "Now," Amelia said, "we need to discuss what comes next. Mr. Harris, show me Mr. Webb's employment file." Harris fumbled with a folder, his hands shaking slightly. 7 years with the company, he said. Consistently high guest satisfaction scores. No disciplinary issues. "Until last night," Amelia said. "Until last night," Harris agreed, miserable. Amelia stood and walked to the window. The city spread out below them, people going about their lives, unaware of the small revolutions happening in glass towers above their heads. "Do you know why companies fail?" Amelia asked, not turning around. "It's not because of profit margins. Companies fail because somewhere along the way, they forgot that people matter more than policy." She turned back to face them. "I grew up in this company. Watched my father build it on the premise that hospitality was sacred. And somewhere in the last decade, that became a liability. That became rule-breaking." She looked at Derek. "You turned away a paying customer because she looked a certain way." "Policy," Derek said quietly. "Policy is what we create," Amelia said flatly. "And right now, your policy is that poor people are problems. That's discrimination." Derek had no response. Amelia turned to Marcus. "And you, Mr. Webb, broke policy to treat a human being with dignity. Do you understand the irony here?" "Yes, ma'am," Marcus said. "The person you helped last night," Amelia said, "is sitting in front of you right now. But first, I need to know why you did it. And I want the truth, not the version you think I want to hear." Marcus considered lying, considered spinning it into something noble and self-sacrificing. But looking at her, at the clarity in her eyes, at the expectation that he would be honest, he found he couldn't do it. He was too tired for performance, too tired for anything but the truth. "Because I've been her," he said quietly. "Not long ago, standing outside buildings at 2 a.m. with my son in my arms, knowing nobody was going to help, knowing every door was closing, and one stranger, just one, opened a door instead." He paused, the memory vivid and painful. "I remember thinking that night would never end, that the cold would never lift, that I'd made so many wrong choices that the universe had decided I didn't deserve shelter. But then this man, I never even got his name, he saw me, really saw me. And he said yes. Marcus's voice steadied. I couldn't be the person who closed that door. Not for anyone. Because I remember what it feels like when everyone says no. When you're invisible. When the world looks at you and decides you're not worth the trouble. He looked directly at Amelia. That girl last night, Sarah, she was me. And I couldn't let her become what I was afraid I'd stay. Amelia studied him for a long moment. Then she sat back down. Derek and Tyler, you're terminated. Effective immediately. Security will escort you out. Derek shot to his feet. You can't. I can, Amelia said, her voice carrying the weight of owning buildings and empires. And I am. 2 security guards appeared within seconds. Derek and Tyler were escorted out in silence. When the door closed, Amelia spoke again. Mr. Webb, I'm offering you the position of Director of Guest Services. You'll report directly to me. Your job is to rebuild how we train and hire staff. You'll have authority over policy implementation. Marcus felt the words hit like wind knocking the breath from him. I don't have management experience. I don't have education. You have something better, Amelia interrupted. You have integrity. And right now, this company needs that more than it needs MBAs. She slid a folder across the table. Salary. Benefits. A promotion effective today. Marcus opened it and felt his vision blur slightly. The number was almost 3 times what he made at the front desk. There's one condition, Amelia said. Your son. I want him to know that his father's choices matter. That kindness isn't a luxury. That it's the foundation of everything worth building. Marcus nodded, unable to speak. Go home, Amelia said. Tell your son. Then come back tomorrow and help me change this place. Marcus stood, the folder in his hands feeling like it weighed nothing and everything simultaneously. He turned to leave, then paused. Thank you, he said. Amelia nodded. Thank you, Mr. Webb, for showing me that people like you still exist. 2 weeks later, Marcus stood in the lobby during the evening shift, though now it wasn't his shift. It was his responsibility. He watched as the new hires moved through their training, their movements still uncertain, but their eyes clear. These were people Amelia had trusted him to hire. Good people. People who understood that policy meant nothing if it didn't protect human dignity. The staff worked differently now. There was a gentleness in how they greeted guests, a genuine attention to needs rather than dismissal of problems. Marcus had trained every single one personally, telling them stories about what it felt like to be invisible. Amelia emerged from her office at 5 p.m. She walked through the lobby like she belonged in it, not above it. How are the new protocols working? She asked Marcus. Better than I expected, Marcus said. We've had 3 walk-ins this week who needed assistance. All 3 got rooms. 2 are already planning to come back. And the old staff. Adjusted, Marcus said. Once they understood the why behind the change, most of them got it. People want to do the right thing. They just need permission. Amelia nodded, looking around the lobby. My father would have liked this, she said quietly. He used to say that a hotel isn't just a building. It's a sanctuary, a place where people should feel safe. He was right, Marcus said. He was, Amelia agreed. And he raised a daughter who forgot that for a while, until she walked through a door at 11:47 p.m., soaking wet and desperate. Their eyes met across the lobby, across the space where everything had changed. There was warmth there now, familiarity, the beginning of something neither of them had named yet. We're changing the entire company, Amelia said. I'm rolling out new training programs in all 42 properties. The emergency fund is going global. And Mr. Webb, she paused, smiling slightly. I'm promoting you to Vice President of Guest Operations. You'll oversee the implementation across all locations. Marcus felt the ground shift beneath him. Amelia, You've earned it, she said simply. And I trust you. That matters more to me than credentials. At 6 p.m., as Marcus prepared to leave, a guest approached the front desk. An older woman, traveling alone, with the exhaustion of someone who'd been driving too long. I'm so sorry, she said to the young staff member checking her in. My card got declined. I should have called ahead, but I didn't realize. The staff member smiled, a real smile. Don't worry about it. We have an emergency assistance fund for situations exactly like this. How much are you short? The woman's eyes widened. Really? I don't know what to say. Just say you'll help someone else when you can, the staff member said. That's how this works. Marcus watched from across the lobby as the woman's shoulders dropped in relief, as tears pricked her eyes, as she was given a key card and a room number, and the kind of dignity that comes when someone says yes instead of no. Amelia appeared beside him silently. "That," she said, "is what you built." Marcus shook his head. "That's what you allowed me to build." "No," Amelia said. "That's what you taught me to see." The next evening, Marcus Jr. waited in the lobby as he always did, his latest drawing finished and ready to show. This one was different from all the others. The hotel was there, yes, but smaller now, just one building among many. Around it were dozens of smaller buildings, all with glowing windows, connected by threads of golden light that seemed to pulse and breathe on the page. "What's this?" Marcus asked, kneeling beside his son, studying the drawing with the kind of attention that made Marcus Jr. sit up straighter. "That's all the hotels," Marcus Jr. said seriously, pointing to each building with his finger. "The ones you're going to fix. Daddy, you're going to help people at all of them now. And see these lines." He traced the golden threads. "That's kindness. That's how they're all connected. When you help one person, it connects to everyone else." Marcus felt his throat tighten. His 7-year-old son had understood something that took most people a lifetime to learn. That kindness wasn't isolated. That it rippled. That one choice in one lobby at 11:47 p.m. could reshape entire systems. "That's beautiful, buddy," Marcus said, his voice thick. "That's exactly right." Amelia found them in the lobby at 6 p.m., as she did most evenings now. She knelt down beside Marcus Jr. without hesitation, treating him with the same respect she showed to board members and business partners. "That's beautiful," she said, studying the drawing with genuine interest. "Did your dad tell you he's going to be vice president?" Marcus Jr. shook his head. "He didn't have to. I already knew. I can always tell when Daddy's going to change things. He gets quiet first, then he gets brave, then the world catches up." Amelia looked at Marcus, something shifting in her expression, a recognition, perhaps, of what it meant to raise a child who understood the architecture of courage. That night, after Marcus Jr. left with Gloria, Amelia and Marcus stood in the empty lobby. The lights were soft, the space peaceful. The city sprawled beyond the windows, millions of people going through their lives, most of them unaware of the quiet revolution happening in this building. "I've been thinking about something," Amelia said, her voice echoing slightly in the empty space. "That moment when you opened your wallet. You risked everything, your job, your security, your son's stability, for a stranger, and you didn't even know who I was. Didn't matter who you were," Marcus said quietly. "It didn't," Amelia agreed. "That's the point. You would have done it for anyone." "Yes," Marcus said simply. Amelia was quiet for a long moment. "I've spent my whole life in boardrooms, making decisions based on profit margins and market share, and I thought that was leadership. But watching you tonight, watching how that staff member treated that grieving woman, that's leadership. That's what my father tried to teach me." She turned to look at him. "He used to say that money could buy a lot of things, but it could never buy the thing that makes people feel safe. Only other people could do that. Only kindness could do that." Marcus didn't respond. There was nothing to say that hadn't already been said by his actions. "We're going to do this right," Amelia said. 42 properties. New training. New culture. New understanding of what hospitality means. And it all starts because one man said yes when he could have said no. "It starts because we both chose to see each other," Marcus said. "You could have walked past me that night, could have gone to another hotel. But you came here, and you tested us, and you cared enough about the answer to change things. I came here because my father died," Amelia said quietly. "And before he died, he told me I'd lost something. He said I'd become so focused on building the business that I'd forgotten why he built it in the first place. He built it because he believed that hospitality was sacred, that every interaction was a chance to remind someone that they mattered." She paused. He said, "Amelia, one day you'll meet someone who reminds you of that. And when you do, don't let them go. Don't let this company go back to the way it was." "And you met someone?" Marcus asked softly. "I did," Amelia said, looking at him. "I met you." They stood in silence, watching the city. Somewhere out there, in other hotels, other staff members were making choices. Some would say yes to people in need. Some would say no. But starting tomorrow, with the new training, with the new culture, with people like Marcus leading the charge, more of them would say yes. "Go home to your son," Amelia said. "Tell him the first hotel we're changing is this one. Tell him it's because of his drawing. Tell him that his father's choices changed the world. Marcus left the Grandview that night knowing that everything had changed, not because of a promotion or a salary or a title, but because he'd chosen kindness when it cost him something, and because someone with power had chosen to listen. The rain was falling again as he drove home, but this time, it didn't feel like something drowning the city. It felt like something washing it clean. It felt like possibility. It felt like the beginning of something that would ripple outward in ways neither he nor Amelia could yet imagine. In the back seat, his son's drawing of connected hotels with golden threads of light seemed to glow in the darkness. And Marcus understood, finally, what his father had always known, that one act of kindness in the darkness can illuminate everything that comes after. OSS